Week 11 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few running backs located off the wire this week. The first running back, Tyler Algier of the Atlanta Falcons. So this week, not a great waiver wire week at the running back position. We really didn't see injuries or anything like that or monster breakout performances. But Tyler Algier is still one of the best handcuff running backs in all fantasy football. Right now, he's out there in 67% of fantasy leagues. And he's been a goal line vulture more times than not. For Bijan Robinson, when they're within the 5-yard line, is Algier. So the last few weeks, week 7 in San Francisco, only 4 carries, 16 yards. Week 8 versus Miami, 4 carries, 4 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches, 10 yards. Week 9 in New England, only 2 carries, 6 yards. And then week 10 in the Berlin game, 11 carries, 57 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. So like I said, his work is unpredictable as Tyler Algier week in and week out. But like I said, one of the best handcuff running backs in all pro football. He had a 1,000-yard season before they drafted Bijan. It was Tyler Algier. And like I said, he's still getting work. And at the goal line, he's going out there making plays. So definitely a running back for fantasy owners to go out there and get. Next running back, Amari DiMercato of the Arizona Cardinals. So his work wasn't all that great, but he made the most of his limited opportunity in the Week 10 blowout loss at the Seattle Seahawks. So the last couple weeks, he's shown some burst. And I know Trey Benson, he could be back sooner than later, but DiMercato, he was still in there making plays and getting opportunities while Benson was in the lineup. Week 9 at Dallas, 14 carries, 79 yards, a catch, -1 yards. And Week 10 in Seattle, 4 carries, 64 yards, and 3 catches, 40 yards. So Week 11, a good matchup coming up versus San Francisco 49ers. Give up the 16th most fantasy points to running backs on the season. And like I said, I don't know if Trey Benson's going to be ready for this Arizona Cardinal team. Bam Knight, he got banged up with an ankle injury. We don't know how severe it's going to be for Bam Knight. And DiMercato, right now, him and Michael Carter, the only 2 healthy backs for sure in this backfield for Arizona. So right now, with 2 good games in a row for DiMercato, he's out there in 63% of fantasy leagues. Next running back, Tajay Spears of the Tennessee Titans. So Spears, he was on bye. And Tony Pollard, he didn't get traded at the NFL trade deadline, where obviously that takes a little bit of hit on Spears. But this Tennessee Titan team, obviously they're going to be trailing pretty much every game this season. And Tajay Spears, he's going to be the back in those passing downs and third down work. He's going to get Week 7 versus New England, 5 carries, 22 yards, 3 catches, 18 yards. Week 8 in Indianapolis, 9 carries, 59 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches, 23 yards. Week 9 versus the Chargers, 7 carries, 26 yards, 3 catches, 36 yards. Obviously, they won bye week with this Tennessee Titan team. Right now, you can actually go out there and get Tajay Spears without wasting the waiver before the Monday night game. And he's a running back that could catch the football out of the backfield, and he's going to get his snaps going up. Like I said, Tennessee's going to be trailing the majority of these ball games early and often, and he's out there in 64% of fantasy leagues. Next running back, Devin Singletary of the New York Giants. So Devin Singletary, he looked like the better back once again between him and Tyrone Tracy, and even did some work out of the backfield catching the football, 3 catches, 53 yards. So right now this Giant team's depleted. Jackson Dart, he got concussed in the Week 10 loss at the Chicago Bears. And now just who knows what's going to happen with this offense with Jackson Dart out, with Russell Wilson possibly returning to the lineup next week if Dart misses. So Week 8 at Philly, catch 28 yards. Week 9 versus San Francisco, 8 carries, 43 yards, 2 catches, 8 yards. And then Week 10 of the Bears, like I said, 8 carries, 20 yards, 3 catches, 53 yards for Singletary. He's out there in 75% of fantasy leagues. Him and Tyrone Tracy pretty much a split. I know Tracy had more touches total, but Tracy only had 1 reception for no yards in that game in Week 10 versus the Bears. So Singletary's still out there in pretty much a 50-50 split in 75% of fantasy leagues. Next running back, Blake Corum of the Los Angeles Rams. So Corum's been on the list a decent amount, and Corum and Kyren Williams, they've been both going out there and making plays. So Corum, the last couple weeks, his touches have gone up, and I know they've been blowing teams out, and that's part of it as well, obviously, for Blake Corum, where the Rams are up big, and they give Kyren Williams a little bit of a rest. Week 7 at Jacksonville, 12 carries, 37 yards, a catch, 6 yards in that overseas game. Week 9 versus New Orleans, 13 carries, 58 yards. And Week 10 at the Niners, 13 carries, 56 yards. He's had double-digit touches now in the last 3 weeks. He is Blake Corum. They're trying to give Kyren a little bit of a rest here and there, where Kyren's still having a good season, very productive in fantasy football. But Blake Corum is a guy that we're big on going into last season at the NFL draft, and now as well they're pretty big on him is Sean McVay and this Los Angeles Ram team. So definitely someone to keep an eye on. And he's out there in 89% of fantasy leagues. Next running back, Sean Tucker of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we don't know when Bucky Irvin's going to come back. I thought he was going to return in the Week 10 game after the bye week for this Tampa Bay Buck team. But obviously that didn't happen. And Rachaad White and Sean Tucker were manning the backfield for this Tampa Bay Buck team, where pretty much it was 50-50, 15 total touches in that game. It was 10 carries for Rachaad White and 5 catches. And for Sean Tucker, it was 9 carries and a catch. So, like I said, obviously Rachaad White, one of the better receiving backs out of the backfield. And he's going to catch the football more than a Sean Tucker. But Tucker physical in between the tackles. And a running back in short yardage as well is where he really can help. So Tucker, the last few games in this split backfield. Week 8 in New Orleans, 12 carries, 42 yards, a touchdown. Then the bye in Week 9 and Week 10 versus New England, 9 carries, 53 yards, a catch for -2 yards. So like I said, Sean Tucker's been solid over the last couple weeks. I don't think he's a guy you have confidence putting in the starting lineup, but definitely someone to go out there and stash in your lineup is Sean Tucker, and he's available in 93% of fantasy league. That's a few running backs I looked at off the wire for Week 11 of the fantasy football season.